Let's see. Just let me know when you're there, Jake. Their stories, their truth. Hey everybody, I'm Sandra and I'm Hope's mom. Tonight's live is the beginning of something I've wanted to do for a while. You all know that I've been sharing the videos of the babies on TikTok and Facebook and my YouTube channel. Pardon me. I do it. Oh, there I am. Okay. And these babies are up on the drug epidemic memorial wall. On ours, one of them is 10 and the rest are 4 and under. And I know that so many of you ask me, how did this happen? How did these children come in contact with fentanyl? And although every story is different, of course, but tonight we're going to start hearing those stories directly from the parents who have lived them. My guest tonight is a father named Jake. He lost his little boy Leo when he was just 3 years old. And out of that unthinkable loss, Jake has started something powerful, a movement called Leo's Law, to make sure what happened to his son doesn't happen to another child. And I am going to invite, let's see, I'll have to watch and see when he gets here, and I'll invite him in. But I just want everybody to know that tonight, please listen with open hearts and respect. This isn't about blame, and it's about awareness. It isn't about judgment. Because when parents speak their truth, lives can be changed, saved. Changes can be made to laws that we have that allow a lot of this to happen. I lost my daughter Hope to an accidental overdose. There she is, wearing her scarf, in 2016. And she had battled addiction for 4 years from the time she was 18. So 18 to 22. And her journey was one of systemic failures, a horrible criminal justice system, and that put punishment over rehabilitation. And they only one time was she ever offered treatment, and it you know, it still takes my breath away, because I just, it's like, how did this happen? How did this happen to her? And that's why I want people to know that girl, that is the face of addiction. It's not people who live under bridges and are bad people who deserve, you know, their suffering. That's not who addiction affects. It's me, it's you. It's our friends, our neighbors, our parents, our children. Nobody, absolutely no one, is exempt from it. Not at all. In any form or fashion. And it does come in many forms. It's not just hard drugs, it's alcohol, it's gambling, it's sex. Um, and it really took me, I guess, last year, as the years go on. I'm now in my 10th year, and here I was at my 9th, and I'm like, how did this happen? I just cannot wrap my head around it. How did this happen? So I went back through every one of her hospital records, every one of her, um, criminal records. And for all of that time, I carried that girl's autopsy with me for 9 years. I carried it in my pocketbook because something wasn't right. And I just graduated from college in August. I have an associate's in criminal justice and a bachelor's in criminal justice and forensic science. And I wrote the book. And I finally see how it's systemic failure. It's like nobody knows how to handle addiction. Nobody knows how to deal with substance use disorder. So they just would rather lock them away. And they think that if they put them somewhere away from drugs, that they'll be good. But they're not. Because when you are forced to stop something, especially something that bad, um, it just makes you want it even more. Okay, there you are, Jake. Did you get the invitation? Aaron, are you in here? There you are.
Hello.
Hi. Now, how do I fix this to where it's just me and you? I mean, a bigger screen. I think I was supposed to do that before. Carol, I see you there. How do
Um,
we?
I'm not sure how to fix that.
Uh, let me pause. I'm gonna pause the live for a second and go in and check and see if I can make this bigger. Uh,
I'm not gonna lie. I don't go live on TikTok enough, so I don't know how to fix that.
I haven't done that. Well, I never invited any guests, but
Um, I can try to leave and then try to rejoin and see if that helps.
I remember seeing somewhere where it asked for the layout, and I thought that I put it just in a certain way, but I guess not.
Um,
We'll figure it out. Let me see. Hmm.
just don't know.
Oh, yeah. Why don't you go back out, Jake, and let me pause the live and go in there and see if I can fix it.
Okay.
Okay. Raise my viewers, muted accounts, blocked accounts. That's not it. That's not it. Effects, music. No, I won't do that either. We may be stuck with this for a minute, unless maybe I need to go out and fix that and come back in. So you can see me, just that. Are there 9 boxes up there, Carol?
Kings like the Caps, and that makes you hunt the puck. He calls it the punt and hunt game. Trying to utilize that here. Okay.
Ovechkin, Strome, Milano out there in white for Washington. The Capitals again wearing the blue helmets with this ring ensemble.
Oh, I found it.
Hello?
There we go. I found it.
All right.
Okay, can you turn the camera on, Jake? There you go. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
How do you do that?
I don't know, Jake. There should be a picture of the camera down around your microphone. Do I sound like I'm yelling? I hear a lot of noise, but I don't think it's even here. Okay, y'all good?
I don't know what I'm doing.
Uh,
I can see y'all.
okay.
All right. Yeah, I can see you, but I can't see Carol or Debbie.
Yeah, I can't see Carol or Debbie.
I can't see Carol either.
Uh,
Or me.
Let's see.
Which is probably good.
Let me do. This is a learning experience. Put it that way.
I didn't turn. Oh, God.
All right. Well, before we begin tonight, I'd like to do this live video and home. Somebody's got a lot of background noise.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm gonna go grab headphones so I can hear a little better.
Yeah. Carol, do you and Debbie have?
No.
I don't know where that's coming from. Because it's quiet here.
Turn off somebody said turn off TVs.
Yeah, turn off your televisions and radios and all that stuff.
All right, I can hear a lot better now.
And yeah, if y'all can tap the screen and make those little hearts fly, then it pushes us out into the For You page. And
I'm doing it and it doesn't work. Well, I don't see hearts. Oh.
There you go.
Did it go?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And if well, while you're up there, I don't think you want to keep tapping. But anyway, before we begin tonight, I want to dedicate this live to Leo and Hope. 2 bright lights who still are, not were, and to every child whose story reminds us why we speak their names. Jake, I want to thank you for being here and for sharing Leo with us.
Of course.
You see,
Yeah, of course. Thank you. Thank you for letting me
you see his picture?
share the story. Yeah, I have a little picture of him back here.
I've got one behind me too.
This is little Leo. He
Yes.
was my little precious boy. He was 3 years old. He passed away last summer from a fentanyl overdose while he was with his mom, and she was a suspected user, and you know they never tested her for fentanyl, but he passed away, and I got a call from my lawyer. He said that he passed away, and about 6 months later, I got the autopsy results back, and yeah, it
So
just
you had
shook
no
my whole
idea
world up.
what had happened?
I had an idea, but they were trying to say it was a mosquito bite at first, and that's like what they put. So it was just like I had a feeling, but I couldn't just say, hey. So
Right and say it.
yeah, I couldn't just say that because I didn't want to do that and it be a mosquito bite or something. I'd have felt really, really bad.
Right.
I didn't. My head was everywhere at that time. So yeah, once I got those autopsy results back, I just couldn't believe it.
How? Well, tell me this. Tell me about Leo. What is he like?
Leo's
I'll tell you something.
just
You said something one day, and this is always my creed. Hope is, not was.
yeah.
You said that in one of the chats. You said Leo is, and that just really touched me. That's how I feel. That I never speak of her anymore. And we shouldn't because they are still with us. They really are. So you tell me.
He's with me every day.
Yeah, yeah. And he's nudging you in. He really is.
He was just the sweetest little boy. Leo loved to skateboard. He liked to play outside. He loved the water. He was one of those kids that would just run into the water, you know what I mean? And I'm like, what are you doing, kid? And he just was a water baby. And yeah, Leo liked skateboarding, playing outside. He loved animals, any kind of animal. The kid had goats and pigs and all kinds of animals that he just would love on and love to play with. Always telling me about his animals. So
that's cool.
He liked playing video games, and he was just a sweet little boy. He was always sweet to others. Like all the time, people would, if they were like sad or something, Leo would just walk up and pat him on the back or give him a hug, tell him it's gonna be okay and not to cry. Like he was just a precious little boy, really.
He wanted to help others.
Yeah, he was a sweet boy, and I just fortunate enough really to have him as a son because he was just so sweet, and he really did show me and teach me many, many things in life and just about the good things of life. Leo really taught me all that. I'm really, really fortunate that I got to experience the time that I did have with Leo, really.
That's awesome. It really is because I have often said that I learned a whole awful lot more from her than I think she ever learned from me. Having that child, and they didn't teach us so much.
Yeah, no, Leo taught me a lot. He was just sweet. Even just some of the stuff that he was interested in, it was just interesting to me. Like, he was getting to that age where he was really developing a personality, had his favorite things.
And he was curious and determined.
Yeah, he loved Spider-Man and all kinds of superheroes. He would always call them superheroes. He would be.
Oh, I love that picture of him in the Superman costume.
Yeah, he liked Spider-Man a lot. That was his guy.
Oh, Spider-Man. I'm sorry. Yeah, Spider-Man.
Yeah, he liked Peter Parker and Spider-Man. Him and the Hulk. He just liked superheroes too. He just liked everything to do with superheroes. He ate it up.
I bet you were his superhero.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was sweet. We would always play
but he was your
superheroes though.
superhero.
Yeah.
Well, can you walk us through what happened that day? What led up to it, or do you know?
Well, I'm not 100% sure, obviously. Uh, I'll try to figure out more as court goes on. But I just was on the phone with Leo that night, and he was jumping off the couch trying to land on a skateboard, and I kept telling him, you're crazy, put a helmet on, you're gonna fall in the He was perfectly, in a good mood, and he's just playing video games. Told him good night. We kiss the phone screen every night, so I did that, and then I woke up the next day, and I'm packing these toys that I was sending back from California to Oklahoma because I was flying there. So instead of taking them all with me, I was just gonna send it back so it'd be there. And I got a call from my lawyer, and he told me the news that Leo had passed away, and I just like threw my phone and didn't think it was real. I remember I just that whole day I really didn't think it was real until I actually got back to Oklahoma. So I got on a plane, flew back, and my baby mama Jordan, my son's mother, she said she was sober and she hadn't been doing anything, and she has no idea what it could have been, and it was just very very heartbroken, doing all that, and then the autopsy came back that it was a fentanyl overdose, and the first thing that she said when the EMTs got there was grab Narcan, grab Narcan. So she obviously didn't tell me that.
Right.
So she was
And
definitely,
how did you find that out? Did your lawyer tell you?
no, I figured that out from a news report. So yeah, a news report. Yeah, I saw that, so I was like, wow. And I went and talked to the people on her case and everything, and they're trying to take it as seriously as they can. They know, they have kids themselves, and they
And how long has it
try to
been?
take that serious. He passed away on June 20th, 2024.
So this is,
So
yeah,
a little over a year.
there's not been any accountability so far.
Yeah, they charged her with felony child neglect, and she's still in county, and
Oh,
she has been in jail since January. So she's
oh,
her court dates, they just keep getting pushed back, and
yeah.
that's still going on. That's why I said I don't know all the details of what happened that night because I wasn't there, and the court process is very long, drags out for a long time.
And you may never
I may
know.
never know. Yeah, yeah.
I don't. I still don't.
It says that he ingested it, so my guess would be that he ate it. Would be what my guess was. I'm not 100% sure, but ingested, that's what my guess would be. I'm not sure.
Yeah, because I know as strong as it is, sometimes I remember when was it gray death? I think is what they called it. That was when they were first mixing the heroin equipment.
Yeah,
It was 2016 when you know, according to her talks, there was no fentanyl involved, but everything else I touched on that a little bit, and I won't go there yet. But um, an officer just dusted off the back seat. He just thought it was just like flour or sugar or something, and he touched it. He didn't ingest it or anything, just touched it. And then he wiped his hands on his face, and he dropped just like that. And they were able to save him, but that was the first time I had heard of fentanyl.
yeah, it's not good. It's not good at all. I see. It's really sad because just I went to school with a lot of people that are passing away from fentanyl overdoses, and It's just a common with a lot of people my age. Like I know a handful of people that have passed away from fentanyl, and it's not good for sure. So I don't know, man.
Well,
It's just something we have to fight.
yeah, and the thing about it is that sometimes it makes me wonder, if if people know, because I mean, how can they not know as much as we talk about it? And
Well,
but
yeah.
yet they still choose to take that gamble with, getting a pill from somebody that doesn't it's not prescribed to them.
As unfortunate as it may sound, like I believe what it really is it's like the same thing with people smoking and you know what I mean? They know that they could get cancer from smoking, but they're still going to smoke. They just don't believe it's going to
Guilty.
happen until it happens to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then it's like, oh no, this is real. I hate to say it, but it's unfortunate, but fentanyl is another one of those things where people don't think it will actually kill them until, a lot of these people, I don't think they thought fentanyl, you know, a lot of the people I don't think really thought that
Yeah, and
until, it's too late.
I've
It's
had
that
experience
dangerous.
uh, where I lived at my mother's house, and there were a lot of people there. And in in a week and a half's time, I ended up administering narcotics 7 different times for 7 different overdoses
Hmm.
in that period of time. And I'm like, what is the matter with you all? Why, it's out there. Why are you taking this time? And uh, you're right. They just don't think it'll happen to them.
They just don't believe it's really going to, yeah, happen to them until it happens and it's too late
It's just like
in a lot
parents
of cases.
don't ever, they look at us and they say, well, that'll never happen to me.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. Is a lot of people will be like, "Yeah, that's crazy. That's one of those crazy stories you hear, but there's no way that would happen to me or anyone in my family." And I pray it never does because it's the worst thing ever.
I know. I know.
And that's what I think we're trying to do is just spread awareness and let people know that these things are real. And people think it won't happen to them, but it could. Fentanyl is that dangerous. All it takes is one time, one mistake, and it is that deadly and dangerous. It can kill you.
Well, I certainly commend you for your advocacy and for fighting for Leo's law. Tell us about. Tell
Yeah.
us about that.
Leo's Law is something that I just knew it needed to be done as soon as I found out it was fentanyl overdose. It was just something that I knew needed to be done, and it would require DHS to test for fentanyl if it's involved or suspected in a DHS case. So my son's mother was suspected of using fentanyl, but they never tested her for fentanyl. In the standard drug test and panels that they have, fentanyl is not included. So
Correct.
it's like they're not testing for the drug that these, people are using.
For that.
Then I don't understand. So this would require DHS to test for fentanyl if it's suspected or involved in a case. Um, it would put a $50 fine if fentanyl is involved in a child endangerment situation to help offset the cost of the testing. So that's kind of just something that we're working on.
So
I'm
what do
working with
if
the
they
Speaker of the
tested
House of Alcohol.
positive? If they tested positive, they have to pay for the $50 fine for the
Well,
test.
Well, what people are concerned about is how would we pay for these drug tests? Because certain parents, when you go through those programs, are on voucher programs where DHS actually pays for it. So
Right.
that system would be the same, but the ones that, can't afford to pay for it, the $50 fine would help offset that cost to the state, which would be roughly under like $300 to $500,000 for the state of Oklahoma. It's not a lot of money to save children's lives.
Absolutely.
I've got the
Absolutely.
University of Oklahoma doing research right now, a few students there on just how many kids it could save, how much, what I mean? How much money is it really worth to save a life, because it could be cheaper than putting up billboards and pretty productive. So Leo's Law would require them to test for fentanyl. It could save a lot of kids' lives as well as adults.
Absolutely. But, I do believe in the billboards. I think that they, when there's something up on the street, out in the open like that, uh, I think that it has a tendency to catch somebody's eye.
It definitely does, yeah. I
They're
don't mean
going for a
to
brief
discredit that
moment.
at all.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
I don't
no,
mean to
no,
discredit
no.
that. I just mean like that, for the same cost it would be to put up some billboards, we can actually do something effective that would
You
help
could do
protect
something
children.
really good because,
Mm.
that's awareness, but it's not action. I mean,
hmm
it is.
it helps though. It really does. The other day I was driving down the road with my buddy and he saw one and he was like talking to me about it for a minute and he was talking about how it's crazy that, he sees a lot more stuff about, fentanyl awareness and stuff like that now. And
Yeah,
I was telling him, yeah, because this thing is not slowing down. A lot of people are still, certain states it may be going down or whatever, but this drug is still killing a lot of people every day, every
it
week,
is.
every 5 minutes.
Well, I just did this video yesterday on since Hope's death in 2016, there have been approximately 700,000 drug-related deaths
hmm
in 9 years. Because when that happened to her, it was 63,000 nationwide, and now it's gone up. It's still over 100,000, and I don't believe that that's really even an accurate number. I think it's a
Yeah,
lot higher.
a lot higher. Yeah, I agree
Yeah,
with you.
I think there's a lot of people that don't get this cause of death does not get reported properly or with a and but it just amazes me that that many people, and like I said, we've got upwards probably over 9,000 cases on our drug epidemic, and that's a drop in the bucket. That's barely 1% of the total that we have lost to this epidemic. And you all can correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't it around 68 to 70% involved now of the overdose, or they say overdose, not an overdose. Any dose is an overdose.
I was looking into some of the stats the other day about fentanyl and just how it's really like it's starting to lead states and stuff like that. Like, you know what I mean? It's starting to get up there in the top five and cracking top fives for just, you know, it's up there with car wrecks. Like it's
Well,
starting to really get up there. Like it's getting up there in categories where it's just should have. It just doesn't make sense.
drug
It's up there.
related deaths are number one.
Yeah, I was looking at some of the
They
stats the other day and was like,
they
what?
have surpassed car accidents, gun violence,
Yeah.
uh, and one other form of accident combined. Those three combined. Now the opioid epidemic has gone past that, and 3/4 of that is due to fentanyl.
Well, that's why too. They really are. If you look at it, like I'm seeing it on the news a lot. Like this administration and stuff, they really are cracking down a lot on that. Like the the fentanyl coming in from over the borders and the cartels and all. It's really all around the world. Really, it's pretty insane.
I
You know
see
what I
we
mean?
have
But they really
Mr.
are trying to
Lawrence.
crack down on it because it's really killing a lot of people in America. It's killing a lot of
Right.
Americans every single day. It's sad. It's terrible.
Derek, feel free to chime in here.
Yeah.
Give us some of your thoughts.
But yeah, even like that, you know,
Mm-hmm. It,
they're trying to crack down on it too because it's a serious issue. It's really important. You know.
yeah, it's um, well, in my criminal justice classes, I was telling them earlier, in August, I graduated college. I got my associates in criminal justice and my bachelor's in criminal justice and forensics. And we were allowed, I guess we had privy to some reports that are, it's not that they're not made public, it's just that nobody knows they're there. And the way that we were talking about how it was being brought into the country, I was flabbergasted. You know, they were dropping it into, um, I don't remember which state out west, but it was like Indian reservations out there. And, you know, they were like dropping it. My mic is echo. Let me plug this thing in.
Yeah, there's no telling what all they're doing now, but
But
they
it's
are
like
trying
they
to
were
crack down
flying
on it.
drones in there and dropping them down on the
Yeah,
reservation. People were
there's no
taking
telling what all they're doing now, but they're at least it feels like they're at least trying to crack down on it and trying to take
I
it
think
serious with the
so.
administration that's in there right now.
I think so. I just really don't think that, and I think the
Have you?
prior administration as well, you know, Biden made a lot of headway. You know, I sat by, you know, with his talks with China and letting them know that the precursors and stuff that they were selling, you know, that they couldn't make the fentanyl if they didn't have those. But I sat down and went on Amazon one night, and I came up with it would only take about $6,000 to get set up to start producing fake pills, and you can buy everything off of Amazon.
Yeah, that's no good. That's really just
No,
not.
no. So, do you feel like the child welfare system failed, Leo?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, most definitely. Because even then, I mean, I remember even talking with them, and they were like, "Okay, well, what are you thinking about this?" And I said, "As long as if she's passing her drug test and everything, I mean, I don't, you know, what are you gonna do?" And they just did not. I don't know. In Oklahoma, they're very, very busy. You know,
Right.
they're really, really busy. So it was really
Well,
chaotic, and they just were like, "Okay, here," and I felt like it just wasn't done right. I'm not gonna really try to dog on them too much because I'm trying to work with them right now. But there's ways we can fix what happened, I believe. Because if they really did drug test her for fentanyl, then that little baby really could just be sitting here, right here. You know what I mean? And it
yeah,
really, could have saved a lot of lives.
because in my humble opinion, they should not get visitation at all, because there's not going to be a day when they're not going to use, and they don't need the children around them at that point. I know that sounds extremely harsh, but it's just stark
Well,
reality.
well, one of the things in Leo's Law we're working on right now, I would also like to say it too in the law, if we're trying to come up with some kind of thing that would be productive to help parents. Say they are like struggling with substance abuses, like how could, you know what I mean? With Leo's Law, we'd like to try something in Oklahoma to help parents. So I was thinking about doing like a peer recovery, you know what I mean, coach program or
Yes.
something that actually helps parents make sure, hey, if you don't have a ride to court, you need a good ride to go take your drug test or whatever it is, or just, hey, you need us to come to your house and, you know, whatever. Try to do something to help these parents as well, besides just punish them. But if you're failing drug tests for fentanyl, then you shouldn't get unsupervised visitations around a child. That just shouldn't
Correct.
exist. Not only
Correct.
should you not have reunification, you shouldn't have unsupervised visits. There needs to be somebody there when you're around that baby
Well,
or child, I
one
believe.
that is that in my opinion, that's where the system failed, Hope. It was punishment over rehabilitation.
Prevention, yeah.
She went to prison for failing drug tests.
Hmm.
Why couldn't they send her to rehab? And all she had in there was Bible study. they claim, a lot of the prisons claim to have drug rehabilitation programs, but they do not have them in place. I mean, not like people need them. They
Not
need
like you would
like
think, yes.
intensive,
Yeah.
like if it were intensive outpatient. You know, I'm trying to find my microphone.
That's why I'd like to try to create some kind of program that would help them, you know what I mean? Instead of just, saying, hey, you can't see your kids, sorry. Like,
Right.
how can we actually help them and get these parents off of drugs so they can be good parents? Because the plan is not to just take kids away from the parents. It's to make them the best possible parents they can be for these kids and make sure that they're sober
Absolutely.
and they're not on drugs around these kids.
Oh, I agree with that 100%. I had a personal situation, um, and if I don't know why they don't treat this like they did my little great niece at 3 months old had 14 broken bones. You know how hard it is to break a baby's bones? So they immediately took her, DSS took her, and I was the only person that had not babysat. So I just went into high gear, hoping I fixed everything, and I was going to take her. But my niece and um, and nephew, they had to meet at the DSS office to have visits with her.
Hmm.
So it's it's a worse danger. Fentanyl is a worse danger. I can see myself.
I was gonna ask you, have you ever? I was talking to this about another parent the other night at an event. Have you ever seen anything like fentanyl? Because have more experience, probably than I do just with this longer. Have you ever seen anything like fentanyl in just all of your life, just how deadly it is and the way it is?
No, no. I mean, back in my day, I remember the whole Janis Joplin and Jimi Hendrix thing, and it was like you just don't go around that stuff. It was not ever anything that we heard about. Even heroin, you didn't hear about it. But heroin is at the bottom of the list
Yeah.
of the causes of death. There, more people pass from alcohol and fentanyl. Uh, but no, I had never heard of fentanyl until I guess probably it was after Hope passed away. I mean, now I know that doctors treated people with fentanyl patches, but I didn't think anybody did anything with them. Drugs were so out of my purview that it really felt like, did I ever have that conversation with her? Because it wasn't an issue. It wasn't prevalent in our society at 2005, 6, 7. No. And I guess all it takes is for somebody to see that they can um, make money, and that's just the bottom line.
Yeah.
Making
There's
money.
a, there's it's crazy too. I've been hearing about horse tranquilizer. I've been hearing about nitazene
That's that
or something like that.
carfentanil.
I've been hearing about a lot of different things that are dangerous too, just like fentanyl. And these drugs are probably going to keep getting more and more dangerous. Unfortunately, I
Yeah.
hate to say it too, but they're with time and everything, they probably will get,
Well, I
you
had to
know.
do my research to see what nitazenes even was, and it's some type of opioid.
Yeah, I'm still not 100% sure on
I
what
had
exactly
never
it is. I
heard
was
that
looking
before
into
in my
it, and
life.
yeah, horse tranquilizer is another one that like I've heard about, or trank, that is doing damage too, and they're not good.
Yeah, and those are two different things. the trank
Nitazene or whatever it is.
and the carfentanil.
Yeah, I'm
Carfentanil,
not sure what it's
I
called
think they
exactly.
use that to like on large animals, but um, the trank, I don't know what it is. But
I've had a
isn't
few
it the one
parents
that
talk to me
turned
about it.
everybody into zombies?
No, I'm pretty sure that was something else, but it could too. I'm not sure. I've never known anybody to do it or anything, but it's I've heard a few people that I've met here recently have told me that that's how their children passed away was from that, and I was like, "Are you
Oh,
serious? Like how? Like
wow, I didn't know that.
I didn't know it was doing that either." So there's like a few other ones too that are just real dangerous and deadly. But I don't think there's ever been anything like fentanyl that I know of that was
No,
just so dangerous to where if it was even around, it could kill you. I don't even,
it has only come
you
to
know.
light in the past decade.
Yeah.
Prior to that, I'd never heard of it.
Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to do is just try to spread awareness. All right, because I believe maybe one day there could be, you know,
Well,
hopefully one day you can get rid of the fentanyl.
I was talking to some a dad today. He's got 3 kids. They're 6, 11, and 13. And he said that he had that conversation with them. He said, I know you're going to be curious. So please come to me because this is what's happening. But he's a registered nurse, so he knows about
Hmm.
it. And it's just like the right people don't know. And even if they do, too many of them have that'll never happen to me mentality. And
Yeah, yeah, I was talking about earlier. It's like they don't think it's something that'll ever happen to them.
no, and that's what makes it even worse. Um, well, um, why do you think that gap exists with DHS not testing for fentanyl? Do you think it is just because of the cost,
Because
or
it's such a new drug. From my
okay,
research that I've done on it, it's such a new drug. The word actually doesn't even exist in their books. That they haven't updated it and really added fentanyl to that list of the things that it just hasn't been updated.
yeah, and like you said, it's not on a regular drug test. They're going to have to
It's
change.
not on a regular drug test. Yeah, they're gonna have to add an additional one for fentanyl. But I think that with how dangerous it is, considering how deadly it is, that it's definitely something they should do
Right.
and need to do.
Well, when I hear your story, it reminds me so much of why I started Samantha Hopes Hope. Do you feel like your advocacy work helps you stay connected to Leo? You think
Yes.
he's your driving force?
Yeah, of course, obviously. Leo, he was my best friend, and I miss him. I miss the crap out of that little dude. And I just think that that's what he would want, me to do would be to try to help others. Even that's why I want to do Leo's law, is because I think that that's what Leo would have wanted, is
Right.
for, that to help others. So I think that I'm trying to, you know, help others, you know what I mean? So my son, it wasn't just for nothing. Like my son actually can be the reason that it helps others, and others do actually see Leo and are like, yes, there's no way I'm going to smoke fentanyl in front of my kids because there's no way. And I feel like it
How do
just
you
helps
take
me
care of yourself?
do what?
How do you take care of yourself?
I try to go fishing and just read a lot, no, just
Get
reflect on
rest
things a
and
lot.
eat well, and
Yeah,
yeah,
and try to just watch the sunsets, enjoy the little things.
yeah,
But doing
yeah.
the advocacy work actually it helps a lot because it actually does make me feel like I'm doing something for Leo. Even if he's not here, I'm doing something for Leo and for others because I
Yeah.
won't. My baby was special. I don't know how to explain it. He was just special.
Oh, I know. I know. Um, how do you think people that are watching tonight or hears about Leo's law, whether they're in Oklahoma or another state, how can they help?
I have a petition on change.org.
Okay.
It's called Leo's Law, but you could go on that, sign that petition,
Okay.
and I have a page on Facebook called Leo's Law. If you follow that,
Oh, you do? Okay. Okay.
yes, because I really do believe I've spoken with a lot of members of the House and the Senate here in the state of Oklahoma,
I'm so
and I
proud of you.
believe that we're going to get Leo's Law through those branches. And once it's done in Oklahoma, I believe I'll probably go to other states and try to work with other parents and see what we can do in those states. And I'm gonna just keep trying to do what I can do to try to make a real difference and try to save lives.
How old are you, Jake?
Leo's Law University works 27. So I'm just gonna try to do what I can do and try to make a change and help others.
If you could speak directly to lawmakers, what would you say to them in one sentence?
It can happen to anyone.
No
Anyone.
one is no one is exempt.
Fentanyl doesn't discriminate.
It does not.
It doesn't care how old you are. It doesn't care if you're 3 years old or if you're 33 or if you're 93. It doesn't
Right.
care if you're white, black, Mexican. It doesn't care what race you are. It's a killer, you know.
And the people who are putting it out there don't care either. They don't
No, obviously they
discriminate
don't.
either.
Yeah,
You
they don't
know,
discriminate either. They don't really care if it's your kid they're selling this fentanyl to. Uh,
it
they're
doesn't
just
bother
trying to
them.
make that money.
It does not bother them that they knowingly can put something in somebody's hand and just turn and walk away. You know, and that's what breaks my heart. So for um, Eric Kittendorf, you know, and his sweet girl Alyssa at 17, you know, she thought she was just, I think it was just Xanax, I think, or one or the other, and for it to just take her life like that. The one of the problems with fentanyl is that, uh, and I think that's why they use it for anesthesia, and it attacks your lungs, and it so that's why it's so quick and so instantaneous. And I know this because this is asking me to drag a public piece. Okay, I guess they want to know I'm real. I with everything that I know. Now this was 4 years ago, and I was living with my mother at the time. Everything that I know about fentanyl, all of it, and it happened to me. Mom ran out of her pain medication. I was out of mine. It was the weekend, and she was in horrendous pain. And someone that I trusted gave me Oxy 30, and I cut it up into 8 pieces. You know, trying to get it to the dose of what
Yeah.
Mom needed. And I thought to myself, well, knowing what I know, uh, let me test this first. And my goddaughter we were sharing a bedroom, and she said all she knew is that I just laid down and couldn't get me to wake up. And of course, the next thing I knew, I woke up in the hospital the next day. Um, Unfortunately, my adopted son came back in the house, but I was gone. I was gone. Just on. This is what packet of sugar,
Yeah.
and I swear, I don't know how well this is going to come across over there, but you know, like less than that amount right there. Less than that.
Yeah.
That spread out. But it's just like a little grain of it is all it takes.
Yeah.
And,
It's not okay. It's dangerous.
and
Even to
you
be
know,
around, I've heard people just being around it, it's killing them. You know what I mean? Like really, I've heard people just, I really have heard crazy
and you
stuff.
know, people where that were with me, they didn't have any idea what happened. You know, and the way I was treated when I was at the hospital, I couldn't understand. It took them like 24 hours before they would finally tell me what happened. And it was a social worker came in and she read me the results of my tox screening, and then everything came back to me. I said, "Oh my God, no! I did not try to kill myself." That's what they thought. So they
Yeah.
wouldn't let me talk to my family, wouldn't let me have a phone, nothing. And you know, even the doctors came in and said, "This is so. There is nothing in your medical history to indicate that I had fentanyl, oxycodone, Xanax, and a couple other things in there that I had already taken. Well, I had a prescription for Xanax, but all that other all that other stuff, no." And I, for a long time, I was really embarrassed to tell anybody about it because here I am trying to do this advocacy work, and then it happened to me. But so, what
It can
better
happen to
person?
anybody, you know, you never know.
Exactly.
This one kid I know, he was 13 when it happened, but his mom passed away and she was out of her prescription. She was like addicted to a prescription that she had. She got cut off, so she went and got it from a friend and it ended up having fentanyl in it. She passed away.
Yeah,
And, you know, it's crazy how many people that's a real thing too now. I don't even know why somebody would try to press fentanyl into a fake pill, why people would do that, but
because it's
that's a
so
lot of people do
cheap.
that.
It boils down to money because it's so cheap.
It's a
At the
terrible
time
thing.
that I did my research about a year ago, it was like 6 cents a gram, which is about this. This is sugar, TikTok. This is sugar. But that's about the size of a gram, maybe. And 6 cents for that. And you think of what that street value of that is. You know,
It's
that
not
they're
good.
making so much money, it's ridiculous at the cost of our children, our friends, mothers, fathers, you know, and the age is not only is it getting younger, the gap's getting older too. Um, because you know you get up into my age group and you start having all these aches and pains and things, and we don't we don't think like that. You know, like from back in our day,
Yeah,
we we don't think that somebody's going to poison us. Why? Who would do that? And that's the problem. Is that people are having a hard time believing that it, you know, like that there's poison in grape juice. That's what it boils down to. We just can't get them to understand this is real. The numbers are real. The pictures, and I'm chunking out videos daily. I'm starting on the teen walls now. I'm still doing different ones with the babies, but I just got started today on the teen wall and doing videos for those too.
Yeah,
But
bless you.
you know, if anybody would just stop and pay attention, that's where I don't get. What is it going to take? Where are we going to have to interject ourselves to get people to listen?
It's just one of those things that, we can try to scream top of our lungs, but a lot of people just don't believe that it's really something that will happen to them. It's just they hear about it and they're, oh, that's crazy, but you're
Well,
not going
you
to be
have,
able to, we're not going to be able to reach everybody, but we're going to try, try to show as much as we can and do as much as we can, but I don't think there's a way that it just goes away completely. We just got to keep working and keep working until it's not a problem.
well, what's one thing you think every parent needs to know right now about fentanyl that will keep their child safe?
That they are putting it in a lot of other drugs as well, and it's like when kids get to that age and they want to experiment, you can't do that anymore because just one mistake could.
Yeah, I was flabbergasted when I heard that they were putting it in marijuana. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
like that.
What's the end
That's scary.
game
That's
there?
scary. I don't. Well, it's like the other day, or like earlier when you were telling me the story about the father, that said to his children, you know, come talk to me because I know you're going to get to that experimental age. Kids now, it's scary,
Yeah,
to think your kid could try to go smoke with somebody or something and smoke some marijuana and pass away. That's just a crazy thought. You know, it's just dangerous. Fentanyl is not. It's not a joke.
back in the 70s, I remember one incident that made the news about uh, marijuana from somewhere being laced with PCP.
Hmm.
That was that one isolated incident, and it even that made a huge impact on me, though. To it made you think twice, or at least it made me think twice. And I think that people are just so immune. They get so much visual and auditory input from social media, the television networks, and all this stuff that they're not really listening to what they're. It's not sinking in,
Hmm.
So, but what you're doing matters so much, and Leo's name deserves to be remembered not just as a tragedy, but as the spark. And that's what all of our children. This is their legacy, you know, and it's up to us, their parents, to make sure that what happened to them, the best of our ability, doesn't happen to anybody else.
Most
It
definitely.
sucks. It sucks to be me. It really sucks to be me. For 4.5 years of doing only to get finally get pregnant with triplets, and Hope was the sole survivor. And then I had an ectopic pregnancy when Hope was 14 months old. So that made three, and then to lose her like this, it, it, it's the most senseless thing. It's just senseless.
It is, and I still just can't, you know what I mean, even put my head around it sometimes. Like sometimes I really will be like, there is no way that, yeah, he was 3, you know what I mean? It's like just, you know, there's no way that those kind of things are, you
You
know,
will still be
are
that
children.
way 10 years from now. It will
Yeah,
still be
I
so
just think there's no
unbelievable for
way.
you. And I mean, okay, if there's 700,000 since 2016, that's 1.4 million. 1.4 million moms and dads. So I just don't understand how it's not getting out into mainstream America enough. You know,
Well, that's what we got to
but
do.
that's what
That's
we're
what our
working
job
on.
is as parents. Yes,
That's what we're
as the
working
parents of
on.
these people. So, like, we're the parents of of the people, the men, the women, the children, the teenagers. It's what we're all trying to do, and there's so. That's another thing too. I was gonna say is, you know, for other parents, like if anybody sees this and they've been in a similar situation, like please reach out to those groups, the advocacy groups and whatnot, because like mine has made the world difference to me just to feel like other people or you know what I mean, can understand semi what I'm going through and are trying to, you know, spread awareness and advocate. And
Well, I
they've been
don't
like a
know
second family for me, you know.
if you've run into this or not with your immediate family, but I did. Nobody wanted to speak on it because my parents came from the age where you didn't talk about this stuff, and I wouldn't shut up about it. And I mean, I guess their answer was to just not talk to me at all, so that maybe I would shut up, but it didn't work. I just found other outlets.
Yeah,
There's more room out than there is in.
for me, the longer that when I first got the autopsy results back, nobody wanted to because I was freaking out. You know, when I first got those autopsy results back, I was freaking out, and nobody, you know, I just didn't believe it was real. I still was like, there's no way. So yeah, it was hard at first, but you know,
Yeah, I was in
they've
shock.
helped a lot. They've helped a lot, like with going to these events and just trying to be there and supporting me. And you know, they all love Leo. Leo was very loved. He still is.
You know, the camaraderie
Yeah.
is huge, and it does make a big difference. I had nobody for the first 3 years. No one. I
Mm.
didn't even know anything like this existed. And Harris Ensler, well, I joined Shatterproof and became an ambassador for them, but I really still didn't know what I was doing. And then Harris Ensler contacted me, and he was 10 years into it at that point with his son. And then it just kind of started building from there, and that's what my life became about, was trying to advocate and raise awareness so nobody else would have to, so nobody else would lose their life
Yeah.
like their children have. I mean, the world lost, it suffered a tremendous loss when hope was taken. Um, and I know most all of us can say that about our children, but I just think of what this generation that this fentanyl is taken from them, what could they have achieved on this earth? You know, and
Most
that's what
definitely.
it has taken, like a genius generation away. So we have to step in their shoes and keep marching and going. But
Yeah, that's what I truly believe that Leo would have wanted me to do. You know, would be to try to help others and to try to not let that. unfortunate, really, the reality of that be somebody else's reality and try to prevent as many, and try to help others. So I want to try to create some kind of program that helps parents to get off of fentanyl and try to, do the things that
I
they need to
think
do.
that is marvelous. I think you've hit the nail on the head. You really have, because it is going to cause lasting damage to both the child and the parent for them to be separated.
Hmm.
If the child gets taken from the parent because of drug use, all that is going to do is drive that parent deeper down into it. And that's what our healthcare system really needs a huge overhaul, because this is the prevalent thing right now. It used to be cancer, but it's not anymore. They've just about come up with cures for so much. Let's do something to this, because it's not going away anytime soon. And I think Carol, have we seen the fourth wave of this yet?
It's beginning. The DEA is warning about the nitazines, and
Yeah.
so is Derek Maltz about all these different variations of the nitazines, and they aren't even legal at all. Fentanyl is legal. The legal fentanyl, uh, there's no legal nitazines. The illicit fentanyl, the street fentanyl, is killing everyone, but there is a use for it in the surgery, and
Right,
it's legal.
right.
And nitazines did not get approved by the FDA because they were so strong.
Where did they come from? Is it just something that
I have,
somebody
you can
manufactured?
order, imagine how little you need to order. You can order it on the web. You can order all of this on the web.
Yeah,
There's a
that's what.
parent,
Uh-huh.
there's a grandparent who busts sites. The minute he busts the Facebook site, there's a new one. And he lost his 8-month-old granddaughter, and that is his life's work. He
That's
lost
one of
Elizabeth.
ours. That's one of ours.
Yes.
Yeah. Um, well, it's like I was saying earlier in one of my classes, uh, to take on whatever project. So I sat down and got on Amazon and just figured out, um, what would it take for me to start my own pill press. Not
Yeah.
much. Not much at all.
I encourage everyone here to go on the internet and just type in xylazine. One of our admins from Canada did that today, and within 10 minutes, she could have bought it.
Hmm. That was the only thing that I ran into, is that wouldn't have I wouldn't have known where to buy the actual product to make it. All the ingredients to put it together. So if I was really serious about it, it would have just been taking that next step and finding a source, because they're everywhere.
Well, it used to be in the beginning that you could order fentanyl on the dark web. I don't know what the dark web is, do you?
Hmm. I do. That's where they. As a matter of fact, the pill that I was telling you about, my stepson said I sat there and watched her open the bottle. He didn't tell me she got it in the mail.
Oh,
So there's a certain code that you type in when you get on your browser. Um, Somebody showed this to me a long time ago, but I really didn't think I would need it, so I didn't retain the information. But you type in some code, and it takes you to a part of the web, where you can buy anything. You can buy anything. People.
so how are we, if you can just buy this on the internet, why do we even care about it coming in vegetables or containers or trucks or over the border? I mean,
Uh,
it's
because
just,
well, they put you through a pretty strict vetting process when they start taking orders on the darknet web. So
but she could get Trank or nitazines right on the internet, she said.
mhm. Yeah,
I mean, and I've
you
heard that nitazines are coming in the mail from China. So, I mean, they're not even coming through the border. They said now that they've closed the border, fentanyl is and all of these bad things are coming through Vancouver, Canada. So they're just going to find a
Of the
way.
world, yeah. They're just
Yeah,
well,
gonna
they're
find
going to
it
find a
as well.
way.
uh, I know that they at one point they were flying drones that they had it loaded in the drones, and they were flying them over whatever huge reservation is out west, Montana or something like that, and dropping it there. They were they were dropping the shipment there, and
Yeah.
then the people on the reservation proceeded to distribute it on out into the United States. So that was one way that they were avoiding going through a port
Uh-huh.
of call or over the border. They were just flying it in.
They're doing that with prisons. I read that they flew drones into the prison yards with drugs.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
It's a whole different world now that
It
we're
is.
living in. If one of those drones dropped a flour bag of fentanyl, I wonder what it would do. And if they
It would
blew
be like
fentanyl into a room that was closed, it could kill everybody.
it would be like Hiroshima.
Yeah. So
And
I don't know why the president isn't getting on there and warning people, like saying this is poison. This is not about drug addiction. Drug people with drug addiction are being poisoned.
yeah,
Um, it's about poison. That's
right.
all it's about. You know.
It's not about addiction. It's about deception.
Yes, that I thought when you wrote that today, that was excellent.
It's
And if the president would say this was poison, maybe people and say babies were getting a
why
hold of
don't
it.
you?
Uh, that proves it's poison. I
Why
can
do
only
you not
imagine.
believe in this? Is what I don't
I
get.
don't know why they get on the news and talk about it, 10 million other things, when this is America's number one problem.
Everybody's more worried about the Epstein files right now than any.
Right, right.
Okay,
And
nobody
but it's
else is
been
going.
that way for Derek and I've been doing this day and night for 8 years, and
Yeah.
it's been that way for the whole time. The first time I met Derek Maltz, he was at April's Lost Voices rally,
Mm-hmm.
and he was just one of the speakers, and the press was there, just one outlet that he got to go there, and they just wanted to talk about Afghanistan because it was when we were leaving Afghanistan and everyone, it was a mess. And he was heartbroken that they weren't focused on that because his brother died in Afghanistan and they were asking him about that. And he was at a fentanyl rally. So I met him right after the interview and I said, let me interview you. And I just held up my iPhone. I said, say everything to me that you would have liked to have said. This was in 2021, I think.
Good for you.
And he's been harping on this on Fox News
I know.
for
He's
for
relentless.
relentless. He's the only one who's relentless. I will never get over this.
Yeah.
I'm a grandmother. I just turned 73. I know the rest of my life is devoted to this, and I don't want to do this. It's like I have to.
And I'll never
Um,
be a grandmother.
I mean, it's the saddest thing
It
I've
took
ever
that
seen
away
in my
from me.
life.
It took
Now
that
with the
away from me.
babies, I can't. I'm having problems with sleep. This
Oh,
this is hard. The many people who are seeing my Facebook page said they can't even look at the baby pictures.
that is
Um,
really, I'm getting so much reaction to that. I mean, my inbox is full of, how did this happen? How did this happen? Well, it happens, it's a little different, but it's still happening. And maybe from this, the little ones, I truly believe the little ones are our beacon
yes,
that are
yes,
going
and
to
like
grab
they're
everybody's
mobilizing
attention.
the mothers and fathers and grandparents of little ones are mobilizing now, and they're finding their voice. This is all new that the babies have come on Facebook. But I would say in 2021 at the China rally in front of the Chinese embassy, we were starting to meet the parents of teenagers dying. And it was the saddest day in the whole epidemic. That was the saddest day. I was with a lot of older long term advocates, and those parents of teenagers were like the walking dead that day. We left there drained. And now, and so that was 4 or 5 years ago. Well, hundreds upon hundreds of teenagers have died. We have
Mhm.
700 teenagers on our memorial wall, and that's
Right.
probably just 1%. And that just started in 2021. And this year we just started getting them in the last year, the babies. And the babies, we now, because of Derek and the White House, pushed us to get them, and we only have 20. And the White House says they know a reporter who's interviewed 400 families. I said, well, they're not on Facebook.
No.
Remember, it's a different generation.
Yeah.
For also, they could be in prison, and the younger generation who've lost their children, they're on Instagram and other stuff, Twitter, things like that. TikTok. That's why you're helping us with TikTok.
Yeah, and
Uh,
and I'm
Jake, where did you get your social media from before this?
Um, well, I made music, so I would try to build my following on all platforms. So I had like Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and all that.
What about your
So that's why
friends?
I used my that to try to, I use that now to do advocacy work.
But what about your peers? What do they do?
Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, same thing.
Because
A lot of people do
we,
Snapchat too, but I don't do
what
Snapchat.
about
yeah,
YouTube? Do you see?
YouTube, yeah, you can post videos on YouTube.
we
Yeah.
have to find the young parents, and the grandparents are on, the ones we have are on Facebook. Most
Mhm.
of the front lines of this epidemic are grandparents and seniors. Because I mean, I've gone to a million rallies. I've marched to the White House 5 times.
Wow.
We've written so many letters to the White House, different presidencies, and this is the first time in Trump's first term, he did open up the gates. He opened up the money, and he was working on it. He was really working on it with the Christian community, um, because there was a newscaster on Fox whose child died, and they were just starting. The families like that were just starting to get on the news. So this is like AIDS and enduring AIDS and
Hmm.
HIV. It was not until the children and the babies and the pregnant women were getting HIV AIDS that the pendulum swung. So I
Well,
hope
Baby Cash was
I
the
yes,
first one that I had heard of. The first
and
baby.
baby Serenity,
Seren-
baby Serenity, and she was from Washington State, and they were very active. That was the first baby,
really?
and oh yeah, and she was a great. It was the grandmother. The front lines have always been grandmothers for the last, or seniors, because some have lost their children, so they,
Mm-hmm.
like you, might not have grandchildren. But
Yeah, I have grandchildren. I don't. Hope was my only. Now,
yeah,
Jake.
well, I even tried to talk to my relatives about this. I begged my relative this summer to talk to his 14 grandchildren and his 7 children. And one of my relatives said, well, they have to be looking for it. And
Mm-mm.
that just showed me the mentality of America.
Yeah.
That was kind of not metropolitan area. That was a country area, but a sophisticated country area. So the all-American family, I mean, they have little toddlers, 14 grandchildren.
Right.
Um, I believe we've got the wrong messaging. And so we're working with the White House. Were we ever working with the White House until 1 year ago? Not much.
Mm-mm.
Last year we started showing the wall
Yeah.
in the
So
Biden
wasn't it just
administration.
last year that the wall got uh
Yeah, yep, with the
had
Biden
that for display?
administration. One of the moms was very tight with Kamala Harris, and she got a thing going at the White House, and they showed the wall. And we didn't know what the next administration would be like. And boom, out of the box, they wanted the wall. And it's not because we have the best wall, it's because we digitized it and it's virtual. And honestly, for anyone to ever do a memorial wall with 1 million people dying in 10 years, it would have to be miles long. So the only way they can do it is digitally. But it
Well,
could fit on a screen. You could have 2 huge screens, 30 feet, and you could show the names all day or the faces. In the White House right now, 5 days a week, while they're working, the wall is playing in the Office of National Drug Policy. They
awesome.
see those faces all day, every day. And that was the very beginning of the Trump administration. And we would never have tried to mobilize the babies because we're just trying to hold it together. We're a bunch of grandmothers.
Mm-hmm.
And just to build the walls, that's our goal. And
Well, I
so,
truly
I
believe.
mean, we're doing it on Facebook. We didn't even know Facebook, how it worked 3 years ago. I mean, we were on there, but we didn't know how to do a page. And we had 4,000 people join our page in the last month. And we
This is
feel the babies are pushing this.
yeah.
I have great hope because we tried to mobilize the teenage families and it didn't work. And all of a sudden, we've got the families of babies and children under 10. We have a 10-year-old. Oh, he's so cute.
I know.
And we have them stepping up to the plate. I'm amazed. But we wouldn't have done the babies because we tried the teenagers. We've also tried to mobilize fathers, and that didn't work.
Yeah.
So I give these families of babies an incredible amount of credit. They are brave.
Right.
And
I think it'll
honestly,
help show
Jake,
people.
you're pretty fragile because you're new, and a lot of them are fragile. That's why the teen parents were almost impossible to mobilize. They're raw. Their guts have been pulled out.
Yeah.
So you going out there and talking to a legislature, like I'm amazed by
I
you.
know.
I've
And
talked to over 22 of them in Oklahoma. I'm pretty sure we're going to get this done here.
I mean, that's
Oh,
amazing to me.
absolutely. I have no doubt. That I would like to say this though. Um, I've been looking at the music, the artists, and the ones who have the most influence. And I know that people want Jelly Roll, but I think he is not going to be um, speaking to the right audience. His audience is older now because he's been around so long that I don't, and he talks about addiction and recovery and the prisons and that kind of thing, but I don't. I think it's going to take somebody that says, "Wow, you changed my life." Young kids to be
Yeah.
able to listen, and the one person who is really banging it out right now is Youngblood.
Hmm.
I mean, his story and everything about him, and yes, I'm going to write him. Don't know that he'll ever see it. I never thought I'd be able to talk to Chris Voles either. I'm
Well,
persistent.
I would hope that you could directly work with some people.
I could probably get a
I,
hold of them. I work in the music industry. I could probably get a hold of them.
you could get
Really
them.
good with Jelly Roll.
I've
I have a
already.
song with
What
Jelly Roll.
do you know, Chris Voles, the Flaw?
No.
Well, he's 51. So yeah, that's Hope's. Well, I mean, you said you were what, 27. Hope would be 32 in March. But his music. Well, Carol, um, she read a story about him and his lyrics. I mean, he's a lyrical genius, and so many people have commended him for saving their lives. No, you saved your own life.
Yeah.
I might have been the soundtrack to it. But so I just started digging to see there's these websites that I joined that for a fee you can get the producer's name and that kind of stuff. All you have to do is listen to him, Youngblood, in an interview, and he talks about all of his people. He says their
Yeah.
names. So, well, get with me on that because I'm
I can.
up
I
for
could
it.
try to reach out to him and try to see what I can do. I'll try.
So,
Maybe
I'll reach
I
out to
think
Jelly Roll too. I'll try to
I
reach out to
think
them both.
that's fantastic. Tomorrow I'll make a group for this. Derek is really on top of this. And the White House would be, but they haven't confirmed the drug czar yet. So now
yeah.
now the government is closed. So
Oh, I
it's just
know.
everything takes so much time, and meanwhile, 22 teens a week are dying.
And the problem too is that even after they open back up, they're going to have such a backlog of all this work that they've missed
I know.
that we're going to get bumped.
It's really up to us.
It is.
So I'll make a group tomorrow.
Okay.
It's just there's so many fronts to this.
There
Uh,
is.
There's a lot
we're
of work to do.
yeah. We're going to kick off the 5 pound bag challenge.
What is that
So
exactly? The team.
where everyone takes the bags somewhere to their mayor or somewhere and shows them how little, and that it is poison.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to talk to my mayor of Savannah during COVID, but he was new and they were all about COVID and getting everyone vaccinated.
Right.
And he could not hear me.
Right.
He was not listening. And I was speaking with him with the National Guard. I mean, the National Guard is really on this, but I couldn't push him. But
And
I
that's
would
when we
now
had
that
a
I have.
huge spike in overdoses too, was during
I,
COVID.
I don't know. I'm not the type of person to go to my town council because it's a city. In my little town that I raised my family in New Jersey, I would have taken the flour bags. So I'm going to challenge. We want every advocate to take the flour bag or the 5 pound bag challenge and just put
Let
these
me know
stickers,
what. Yeah, let
which
me know
you can
what.
print out on your own on your home printer
Mm-hmm.
and get luminary bags, white luminary bags, glue them on with a glue stick, and just, you don't even need to put anything in them. Just show them this bag
Right.
can kill, a 5 pound bag can kill, of carfentanil can kill 113 million people.
113 million people. Yeah.
And they just found 68,000 carfentanil pills in Washington state. They confiscated them. And the DEA only catches 10%. These
Wow.
carfentanil pills are the worst thing
And
ever. That's
it
way
seems
worse
like
than
on the West
nitazene.
Coast is where they seem to be having these seizures, the big ones like that.
No, I watch the seizures every day. I'm a news fanatic on fentanyl, and I was on OxyContin during the whole first phase. And the busts are all over. The DEA and all of them are doing a tremendous job. I've never seen so many drug busts. And they're starting to prosecute people, and they never were. They
Right.
never were prosecuting people. Well, I'm going to just tell you the 5 pound bag of fentanyl can kill 22, or no,
The fentanyl.
nitazines.
Oh yeah.
Fentanyl 5 pound bag can kill 1.3 million.
Right.
A 5 pound bag of nitazines can kill 22
22 to
to
45 million.
45. And
That's just
a
insane.
five, it's insane.
And
Yeah, that was
113
Now
million people.
I actually am gonna send this to my relatives now that we have this organized. And I'm gonna say, would you have ever guessed this? The
But
one that says they have to be looking for it.
are they going to
Well,
say,
in two schools,
what
in
does
an
this have to
elementary
do with
school,
me?
and also in an elementary school last week, it was in the news that they found a capsule outside the school with fentanyl in it. And so they had to notify the whole school district. And then in another school district, in Connecticut, they found powder in a high school classroom, fentanyl powder. So
Mm.
the schools have to get their act together now because they're dangerous places. These kids can get a hold of this so easy, just
Those
like
are,
Leo.
those are the
It may be your
teens though
kid,
too.
maybe your kid won't do it, but another kid might and bring it to school.
Right.
We have cases where a kid had it in his vape pen. And so they're bringing it to school. I've got so many articles about that, dating back 5 years.
That's incredible.
I have 2 years of articles on kids taking fentanyl to school, or OxyContin, one of them.
And back in the day, they used to get those out of their parents' medicine cabinets.
You just don't know where it's going to be.
Does this sound better now, Aaron?
The other thing I wanted to say is I have a relative, my cousin's son, someone put it in his drink. So now we should be warning people in bars, or anyone, don't drink anything without, just be so careful. I can't hear you now.
Yeah, it's not good. It's really, really dangerous. It's like I've even heard,
Can you hear me now?
yeah.
Yes.
Okay. That's like a roofie. Like you do that in bars for like the date RAPE thing. Why? What is anybody getting out of that to put it in somebody else's drink?
That they might not have known fentanyl was in it.
I don't understand that either. Like, what do you actually gain?
Yeah,
People
what
that
do
are
you
watching,
gain?
why are you
It's
putting fentanyl in
echoing.
weed?
I'll go back to that. I don't know why it's echoing so bad. I'll figure it
Now
out.
it's
It's
good.
better
Now
now.
it's good.
It's
Okay.
better.
Um, I just don't understand the whole underworld all the way around. I mean, what's the point?
There's
Oh,
always
all right.
money.
No,
Money.
this is what's happening because I was in disbelief that it could be China doing it intentionally. And I helped mobilize a group of 50 parents who went to the Congress. The Congress asked them to go. And because we have a big Facebook page, I was asked to advertise for it. And we got 50 parents to go there. And the Congress showed a video to them that they have proof that China's doing this, the government, not the people, are
Intentionally,
doing.
yes.
Yes, and the Congress said it, and very few press outlets picked it up. The United States Congress told 50 grieving families that China was doing this intentionally, and they were not allowing it in their country, these chemicals, but they were giving tax incentives to send it to other countries. And
What is there?
the FBI just last week, Kash Patel, whatever he was on TV, and he said that there are hundreds of chemical companies shipping these chemicals out. It's going to be like finding a needle in a haystack. So our government is trying, but considering that they only get 10% of the barrels of precursor chemicals that are being shipped to Mexico to make fentanyl, it's just so depressing.
What
And
is
so I
China's
know
end game?
what
What is China's
they're
government?
destabilizing. They're very competitive. They want to be
They
number
want
one,
they
and they're
want to be.
destabilizing us.
Okay, I got
That's
you.
why President Trump has put these tariffs on them. I think they're geniuses for doing this. His administration. We're really lucky. Our government is really moving on this.
That's all I was saying. This administration's actually, from the looks of it, I'm obviously not at the White House, but it looks like they're actually taking it very seriously.
Well,
Yes,
there's a lot of people behind the scenes, like Derek, and those are the people who are the movers and shakers on this.
yes, and Derek is very close to the White House.
Right.
So, you know, I there's great hope, but there is for the
But
people that are so close to this, there is incredible fear. Incredible.
we're going to have to conquer the climb.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, nothing worthwhile really is. I mean, you have to work for it. It's an uphill battle, but I believe in my lifetime we're going to get there.
Yes. Well, look, we've conquered HIV/AIDS. Yes, I've
Exactly.
told people it's going to take years, 20, 30 years to figure this out. And now HIV/AIDS, they get like so much money, and we
Right.
don't. We don't. And there has to be immediate treatment, easy access to immediate treatment.
Jay,
And
I
get
wanted
the,
to.
go
Oh,
ahead.
okay. So I wanted to mention something to you about when you're talking to lawmakers and such about recovery for parents. Um, they have implants that people who are trying to recover they can
I've heard
get
a little bit about that.
they can get
Like makes you
implants.
sick.
It's actually Narcan.
Wow.
It's an implant,
I
and
didn't know that. I've heard about
yeah,
it, but I don't know enough about
and
it.
I don't know why they dropped the ball, but I think that's really something that should be looked into for people who are, there's really tough cases. Some people, it's going to take them a lot more to shake it than others.
Hmm.
For those people, it could save their lives, if they slip up and use. But I think that's brilliant what you've come up with for that as far as VA's law is concerned. I think that's absolutely brilliant. I love it.
Well,
Well, that's
just to
something.
hear you, just for anyone to hear you. If, like, when you all get stronger, you're just starting, it might take you 6 months. You're a unified voice now. Like, the White House is so excited that you're being mobilized, that because you're the voice. You've heard of Ryan White, right? For AIDS, Jake?
Yes,
Do you know who he is? Who he was?
yeah,
Who
I do.
um
I,
he was the 8-year-old who died from HIV/AIDS and or from AIDS. And that Elton John and all
hmm
the famous people got
Freddie
together
Mercury.
and they with Elizabeth Taylor, we need the famous people. We need
Was
the
it Farm
Bono,
Aid? Was it
Bono.
Farm Aid one of the first?
Yes, yeah, we need them. I encourage our government to ask the American people to help them. They cannot solve this on their own.
Right. And I truly believe that one of the first places that we need to start working is in our living rooms, in our doctor's offices, in our therapist's office, trying to help the people who have the mental illness that is addiction.
Yes.
And it's extremely prevalent. I mean, we have this very fallible human body, and there's a lot of things that don't. Uh, you can't pray it away. You can't pray away an illness like this. There's got to be a lot of work put into it, scientific work here. And if we can get our people recovered, we're not going to
Well,
have this on the other end.
in New Jersey, we had, in my community, I've been doing this for 40 years. During the crack cocaine epidemic, New Jersey was unbelievable. They
Hmm.
put high school drug counselors in most of the high schools. And we took it and ran with it because our county was targeted by the cartels.
Hmm.
And we were a half hour from Newark, fairly wealthy community, and the cartels could get to us fast. So when you consider that 1 in 4 children are living and being deeply affected by someone's addiction in their own home, if you get to those children when they're young, It's the greatest form of prevention. And I'm the product of the first Children of Alcoholics movement. I got the message when I was 32 that it's repeats. And I didn't know my mother was an alcoholic till I went to Al-Anon, and that my father-in-law and other people in my family, because I didn't know what an alcoholic was.
I was exposed to nothing like that at all. Nothing in my family.
Wow. And so
my
yours
dad
was-
drank, but he just
Your-
didn't. It was never around
your
the house.
Hope was just a random case.
I'm sorry.
Hope was just a random case.
Well, I had uncles who had alcoholism. My nephew, my sister's son, is an addict. But it's most prevalent on her dad's side. His father, raging alcoholic. His brother committed suicide at the age of 30. And her dad is an alcoholic. Well, he wasn't so bad until she died. But actually, I can't say that because she, on her 21st birthday, he took her. Well, you know, Asheville, Beer City, USA.
Yeah.
We have so many breweries here, and he was just taking her from brewery to brewery, and Hope didn't drink. She didn't like to drink. She didn't like alcohol. And she called me during one of those things. She said, "Mom, I think my dad's got a drinking problem." She said, "I just want to go home, and he keeps handing me beers." I said, "Are you drinking them?" She said, "No, I'll wait till he turns his head, and then I dump them out." But
Is Jake still here?
no, his phone died. He's
Plugging it in.
Are you? Can you see what I'm saying down the chat? Yeah, come on back in if you want to. But
I want to ask Jake a question. Is he back?
let me see. There we go. Send him an invite.
Well, what
That'll
I'm
bring him
getting
back.
at is if we could get to the kids, the little kids, we did in my school district. After we got one in the high school drug counselor, we got one in the middle school. They were completely overwhelmed. You have to provide safe places for children to disclose and
Yes.
say, my parent is getting drunk every night. There's pot all the time around my house. Or now, fentanyl.
Carol, that's what Hope wanted to do with her life.
She wanted to become a counselor.
She wanted to become a counselor to help at-risk youth not have to suffer from addiction like she did, whether it be personal addiction or around her family. Hope knew what I've still got to send you that book.
Oh, Jake, is he back on?
You here, Jake? I sent him an invite. There he is.
Jake?
Yep.
Hi. Do you have addiction in your family at all?
Yeah, my mom passed away from alcoholism, and yeah, yeah. I
How
know what it
old
does.
were you?
This last year. It was the year before Leo passed away.
You lost your mom last year, and then Leo.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I lost her. She had cirrhosis of the liver from alcoholism.
How old was she? Young.
Yeah, young. I didn't have the greatest relationship when I was younger with her, but reconciled with her a little bit as I got older to know her, get to know where I get certain things from, and yeah, she was struggled with addiction herself.
And what about your dad?
According to him, he's a saint, so you know, I don't know.
Well, I mean, did he raise? Who raised you?
My grandmother did a pretty good job. I did just different family members and stuff.
He did an excellent job.
I went around a lot, but I think they did a pretty good job. So yeah, but I know that with that, that's why I want to try to create a program with Leo's Law to actually try to help other people, like not just, you know, like actually try to be there. Like I'm not perfect, but I know that I might be able to offer something that could help somebody else out going through a similar situation. So in Oklahoma, they have what is called peer recovery specialists, and I'd like to have them help these, at-risk parents, really, because if they lose those children, that is just going to make them spiral deeper in this hole that is not good for them.
And it just
I
snowballs
believe,
on through the
I believe,
generations like
yes,
that.
I believe.
I so believe in the peer specialists.
I think
Um,
that's great.
I think
From
they're
my
the
research,
change.
I think that would be effective in
You could
any
become a peer. I think that they're going to be what changes addiction in
I
America.
think he already is. Carol, you know Harris Ensler, right?
No.
I saw a conversation with y'all. Maybe you were just talking about or making a comment on his post or something. Um, he has a curriculum. He developed a curriculum for the schools to teach. Also, you know of Emily's Hope?
Yes.
She has a curriculum K through. Um, she may have it 6 through 10 now, but it was K through 5 about this time last year to
But
get kids.
if you don't get to the 25%, like
Yeah,
Jake says, of the high risk kids, and
right.
they're in the high schools, in 10 adolescents has an addiction to alcohol or drugs. So if you leave them, they're the ones that might bring the fentanyl into the school. So, but if you have drug counselors and meetings in the school, I ran meetings, Alateen meetings, in our high school for many years when I was in my 30s. I used to take my 2-year-old daughter to the meetings. I was a young mom. I didn't want this in my community, cocaine. The teenagers were doing cocaine. I couldn't raise, I had a 5-year-old, 2-year-old. I couldn't raise my kids in this community or any community basically in New Jersey because we had an epidemic. That's why I'm involved here, is because I have experienced and I know what it takes. And it basically took the parents mobilizing, but we had a great system in New Jersey called the Governor's Council on Alcoholism and Drug Abuse, and they started funding grassroots efforts. So we could do all kinds of assemblies in our schools. The PTAs all had committees of for drug prevention, and they could do get money to do assemblies, puppet shows. There's all kind of prevention you can do for kids in school. But they're called children of alcoholics and addicts, COAs. And I'm an adult child of an alcoholic. And if I didn't learn this stuff, I would have been an alcoholic, I'm sure. I mean, my grandmother was, my mother was. So
Hope's friends are begging me to, what can we do for you? How can we help you? Because I told them this was my latest thing that I took on, and they're like, you've got to give us something to do. Can you tell me what that is?
I believe drug counselors in the high schools and the grammar schools, if a school is going to hire a counselor, they could be a trained counselor in drug and alcohol. They're going to hire counselors.
Mm-hmm.
And look, we haven't, in my community, we've had them since 1990,
And
1987.
That's what their degrees are in.
And Rutgers in New Jersey is a famous school for alcoholism and drug addiction studies. So our state is truly blessed. And we got to those kids. There's no opioid epidemic with adolescents in my community in New Jersey, Morristown and Morris Township. because
Well,
the drug counselors told me that. They
yeah.
said, huh? I was like, this was 5 years ago. We don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, where are you from? You have, they didn't even really know. And I've retired and moved to Savannah. Um, and so, I go back there once a year and we train our community. Uh, it's, New Jersey has the model. New Jersey has the model, the total model. But
Can you
what
get
I
me
say
information?
is famous. What I say, because if you have drug counselors in the schools, they teach about this, what it is. But um, I say New Jersey can't stop the epidemic. We're losing 3,000 people a year. Maybe it's a little less now. They can't stop the epidemic, and they have their act together in treatment and prevention. New Jersey is a stellar state, but they can't stop the epidemic because they can't stop poison. No one can stop poison. No amount of treatment. Look at all the recovering people that are dying because they're being poisoned.
Right.
Some know they're taking these drugs,
They
but
have one
I bet
relapse.
guarantee you most don't.
That's
And they're
that's a big part of it
relapsing.
too.
And
That's
because
what this. That's why I wrote this book.
Tell us why.
Because it. I started out just. I've always been a writer, and I just started out writing about hope, life, my daughter, and then I hear this little whisper and said, "Mom, this is the most imminent thing that you can do. You've got to teach people about addiction and how they can get help." My book is 300 pages,
Wow.
and 30 of them are resources. What I have in the back are legitimate resources for anyone nationwide that can, that pick it up, look at it. Right there. There's tear outs from to put on the refrigerator. I'll send you the manuscript. I think you'll.
Jake,
Yeah.
would it have helped you as a young child to learn about addiction and how it affects the family, how it affected you?
Yeah, I knew from a young age. I just did. I just always knew with addiction because I just saw it with my family.
Because you
But
grew
did,
up in it.
Yeah, because I grew up
but
with it.
did
I grew
you
up
ever
wondering
get
why.
any help for it?
Uh, no, not really. It just kind of happens. You know what I mean? It just kind of happens. But I just was aware of it and knew, like, honestly, that's why I never really tried a whole lot of drugs and stuff. It's just because I knew what it all led to. So I just knew that wasn't the way to go.
Good for you.
But I think that they definitely should. That's why, like, what we do now, like with this group, Family Supporting Families, like what we do is, like, we do go to the schools and like try to teach kids. The Leo's picture is used almost every single day at a school in Oklahoma.
That's
Well, they
so
teach kids about fentanyl and stuff. You know what I mean? Like they have Leo right there because a lot of people, the misconception with fentanyl is they're like, okay, well, like what you said earlier, they think, oh, well, they're a drug addict. That's what you get. What do you think is going to happen?
Right.
And Leo proves and like just shows people that, hey, this is like something that little kids or innocent people are dying from. It is a poison. It's not an
Right.
overdose.
It,
You know what I
it's
mean?
not
It
an
is a poison.
addiction issue. It's a
These people
deception.
don't know what they're doing. But like we go to the schools and do that, and we give out like these. This is a lock box that we give out, right? That has like, so you can lock your medication in there, and if you go to sleep and you have a little kid around, they're not going to get into your bag and like think your
That's
prescription's
awesome.
candy or something. But we give these out, and this is like a fentanyl drug test. You know what I mean? So you can like
Yeah.
test for fentanyl if you are going to do something. this one right here is another one I forgot, xylazine. So this one
Oh,
like tests for xylazine. So we give this one out. So it's like a fentanyl test. This one tests for xylazine, where you just put the little liquid in a cup or whatever it is, and
How
then
can I
like
get
free
one of those?
Narcan, and then
How can
like
I
we
get
have free
one of those
Narcan that we give
kits?
out. I can send you the information, but they're just these little lock boxes that we give out for
Yeah.
free in our community. So people always, can try to have Narcan on them, can test for fentanyl if they're going to take a Xanax from one of their friends and they don't know,
Well, but
whatever the gig is.
my nonprofit, I went online and I got these. And I insist that each one of them has this on hand. But I don't have any of the test strips. Or this is just naloxone. It's not. Uh, oh, what is that? That this doesn't work on. Which
Do
one
what?
is it? Which one is it that this
xylazine.
stylus? Okay,
Xylazine and fentanyl, yeah.
Trank.
but
Trank.
I don't know enough about it, honestly, xylazine. I
Well,
really
I
don't.
just read about Trank. The reason they're mixing it in the drugs is it makes the high last longer. It makes the opioid high last longer.
I'm sure that's the same reason they're
well, I'm
putting fentanyl in
surprised that they
weed
would want
pumps.
it to last longer. Why would they not want them to come back and buy from them some more?
That's an interesting question, which I have
Uh,
no idea because none of this makes sense.
yeah,
But
but
they're putting an animal tranquilizer in a drug that treats horses.
yeah,
And so it's very strong
where's Trinidad?
and it's deadly.
Yeah, this says that the
I have a friend
carfentanil
from high school that passed away.
is it's 1,000 times stronger than morphine, but its intended use is veterinary tranquilizer for large animals such as elephants. It's not approved for human use. I don't have a list. Yeah, the nitazines and the fentanyl have a legal use, right? I know the fentanyl does,
Not nitazines.
not nitazines. Okay.
What's actually interesting too is I'm pretty sure the first time that like Leo's mom ever did fentanyl or had fentanyl in her system or anything was actually after she gave birth, because I'm pretty sure they use it in the hospital.
Yeah, when
Like right after she gave birth, I'm pretty sure during or before or something they gave her fentanyl, and that's the first time I'd ever heard of it and thought that was even weird. I
Did
was
she
like,
have a birth complication?
no.
they give it to them in their epidurals.
Yes, because I remember them talking about that, and I was like, wait, you're giving her fentanyl? What? You know what I mean? And I just, at the time, I
Yeah.
thought that was even weird. But I remember
That
that was
is
the first time
weird.
I'd ever thought, like, and heard, like, dang, they give that to people for this?
I
Ed
didn't.
broke his leg last April, and when I had him up at the hospital, when he came out of surgery, I heard the nurse say, I gave him, they were going over the medications and shift change. She said, I gave him a dose of fentanyl before we brought him up. I said, you do not give him any more of that. None. No, not at all. Because he was weird for days.
But I think that's the first time I'd ever actually, like, medically heard fentanyl, you know what I mean, like, was being used. Because I remember asking them, like, what are you doing that for? You know what I mean?
I know a girl that was in recovery. She was doing really well, and she was having a baby, and they put fentanyl in her epidural, and it kicked it right back in again, and she ended up losing her baby because she relapsed. And I know it had to be in her chart that she had issues because she'd been admitted to the hospital before. See, even there is a breakdown in communication.
Oh yeah. Well, see, that's why with Leo's Law too, I think it'd actually help with stuff like that too, because like the NICU babies and stuff like that, whenever they have like fentanyl in their system and they're born like that, well, that investigation, those parents would have to start getting tested for fentanyl.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now they're giving those babies right back to them because they're testing them for all this other stuff when it's fentanyl that they're doing. They're not being tested for it.
And the nitazines, they don't even have, America doesn't have the right testing for that.
Yeah, a lot of these things. Somebody brought up something to me the other day. Um, that was a pretty effective testing method that I have not thought about. It was it, I'm trying to think, but they're coming up with all kinds of crazy stuff. The fentanyl testing strips too are a lot cheaper than they were even a year and a half ago. You know, some of the stuff they should be able to like develop as they go on because the fentanyl testing strips are cheaper now than they were like when I was first trying to get looking at Leo's Law. They were like $50 a piece or something like that, and now they have like went down a lot where it's okay.
I'm gonna look into
They're
that.
$50 a piece. But a lady the other day was telling me a really good testing method that is effective, and I just can't think of it right now.
I
But I
heard
think
that
it's
people were smoking fentanyl because it was less risky.
well, that's what most people do with fentanyl is smoke it.
They do?
Yeah, they put it on tinfoil and smoke it.
How did your girlfriend, ex-girlfriend?
Yeah, that's what she did. That's why, like, I'm telling you, I would freak out even before anything happened. I used to always freak out on her. You know what I mean? Because I was like so afraid something like that would happen one day. But she just lied to me and said she was sober, so thought she was sober. But that's what she used to do was just be smoking it on fentanyl and just be passed out, just middle of the living room, middle of the day, just slumped over. Like, what are you doing? Just foil in her hand, smoking fentanyl. But
Do you
what a lot
think
of those people
Leo
do is,
got into the tinfoil or something?
I don't know, honestly. Because I tried to ask her even after I had it, and she was like, I promise you I wasn't even doing it. I don't even know.
Oh,
This says that nitazines were developed by researchers around 60 years ago as an alternative to morphine, but because of their high potential for overdose, were never released. So why are they?
so we're saying that in the next phase, this opioid is so strong that they wouldn't even release it for medical use. It was so dangerous.
This has got to be coming from, doctors and, well, the medical profession. Uh, because it's not even been released. It, benzodiazide, benzimidazole, benzimidazole, opioids. That's what nitazines are. I'll
So
send
you
you.
so whoever is listening to this, we are headed for trouble. And Pam Bondi, the head of the Department of Justice, said America is completely unprepared for this. And all three of us know that is absolutely true.
Mm-hmm.
And that the Department of Justice, and the White House, and the President, and the Congress, and the Senate, and every governor should get on TV and prepare us and warn us day and night. The press has become interested in the babies. I think Derek had tremendous success getting people to listen because he's all over the place talking about the babies. Like, I have talked to grandparents who've lost 8-month-old And they say they miss their grandchild so much they can't even think or sleep or eat. And I have an 8-month-old granddaughter, and I would miss her. If something happened to my granddaughter, oh my God, I would swear to God, I have no idea what I would do. That it's just the tragedy of all tragedies is to lose babies.
Mm-hmm.
Jake, you are something to be out there.
Yeah, he so definitely to be commended, because I was so paralyzed for the first couple years after Hope's death that you couldn't tell me anything.
Yeah.
You know, it was such a shock.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more to it. I know now there's a lot more to it than hers was not just an overdose. Hers was more. Have you ever heard of a hot shot?
No.
Cartels use. One of the local police officers held her for 5 hours trying to get her to be a CI for the Mexican cartel. She refused. They sent her to prison. Fairly certain that they are the ones who got to her.
The cartels? Oh, God.
Yeah, because we got little Mexico here, you know. Yeah. I have got such, I mean, I've really been working on it hard, and there are so many inconsistencies. Every single officer that was reported to the house for her case was reassigned the very next day. The very next day.
Okay, well, let's just wrap this up.
Yeah.
I think it's long enough.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you. You're the
this is
best,
good.
Sandra.
Oh,
And Jake, you're a star.
yeah.
You're a
Really.
light. You're a new light. He's
Absolutely.
gone.
Yeah.
I think we lost him
His
again.
phone died again.
Okay.
I mean, TikTok really does drain your battery. So, well, I'll be talking to you soon.
Okay.
And for everybody, thank you so much. And
Yes.
we'll be continuing, hopefully.
Yep.
Hopefully Jake is, well, he's an inspiration to me. And
They all are. They
yes,
all are.
And hopefully
And
the others will be able to speak on
yeah.
their situation, because I think that's what's really, we've got to start talking out loud.
Yeah. Well, the teen parents have done a terrific job of getting the governor in some states and the legislatures to make education mandatory, and that's what's got to happen.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
well,
there's
and I think Emily's Hope,
they're awesome.
Kennedy's really got something going on there.
She's got special stuff. I knew that area of the world, South Dakota, was going to be good because of her.
Yeah. I did a podcast with her.
Yeah. Okay, I'll see you. Right. Good night, sweetheart. Good night, Jake. Good night, everybody.
Thank you all for being here. Bye.